All right, everyone, we are back with another off-season war and with the announcement of season 31, I believe it is. This will be one of 3 before the season starts. Going in with Mr. Negative, Shang-Chi, and Nebula, we are taking Path 4 in Section 1 and Path 3 in Section 2. All right, so this first fight here, this Nova, I was not too worried about at all with Shang-Chi. It was really going to come down to whether or not I consistently dodge special attacks with the high ground charges or not. So, I mean, ideally here with Shang-Chi, since we are having to play against high ground, I'm going to want to try and trigger Wushu as much as possible, or Wushus, as much as possible through his block. So what you will see me do, I think quite often in this video, is go with the stun Wushu later on, and then inflict the cleanse Wushu and then heavy to reset. So initially here, since there aren't high ground charges, I went ahead and did the cleanse Wushu and then the stun and then heavy reset. When I have a special attack, I'm going to go in for the cleanse Wushu, I'm going to go for the stun Wushu, and then I'm going to reset. And I'm basically going to manage that rotation until we get to SP2 and then finish him. So here's another cleanse right into an SP2 for the Fury, and bye-bye goes Nova. So pretty easy, pretty straightforward fight. Not boosted very much there, but he does have suicides. I decided to go ahead and take this Infinity War Ironman, basically working off the same knowledge or idea that I did with Nova, which was as long as I'm utilizing placing Wushus through block, then my opportunity to avoid high ground is a lot better. So here it's got Bubble Shield, it's got Power Focus 1, and it also has Strike Counter, Ebb and Flow Knockdown. And you see me here specifically doing the stun, throwing on 1 extra Wushu, and then doing the reset. Eventually, when we get Infinity War Iron Man down to his final percentage, I'm going to try and throw the block Wushu, the unblockable Wushu, through Iron Man's block and then drop into SP2. So I'm fine here letting the high ground charges build. Unfortunately, we have gotten to the point where he's about to be in his auto block window. And I'm not ready with an SP2 because we already used it. So I'm just going to pretty much let him kill himself with recoil here. But I am strictly focused on placing these Wushus through his block. So pretty smooth fight here. We've got a full yellow bar of health. He's building up high ground charges, but he can't really hit us. And we don't have to block bait a heavy here, because we can go ahead and trigger through his block, create openings, and then end the fight when we need to. So in season, this could be pretty practical. It wouldn't be quick, but practical and safe. All right, rank 4 Doom on Power Snack. I'm obviously taking this with Mr. Negative. Usual game plan, we had some time left on that 10% boost. So I went in with an APB, parry heavy 3 times, convert, parry heavy 1 more time if he doesn't throw SP1, convert, and maybe drop SP2 before he drops SP1. And I believe for this fight, I actually managed to get the SP2 off before he gets his SP1 off. So here we go with the convert. We're at 9 light, down to 9 dark, 1 more parry heavy. I'm going to block bait a heavy or just block evade here into SP2. And now that he has the Petrify, I'm going to go ahead and bait out an SP1 so it won't be unblockable and he won't gain his aura. And now I'm going to go let him die from recoil. So rank 4 Mr. Negative versus the rank 4 Doom. All done. Last 3 fights here, 2 of them I'm going to take with Nebula. It was the reason I brought her, was for this robot, G99, on chitinous thorns and I believe it's cutting wires, and then the Nimrod on buffet. So The idea here is basically to charge the shock charges by blocking. Once I get to 5, then I'm going to shut down Guillotine's ability accuracy completely. So I'm not going to try, well, because this node shocks robots and Nebula builds shock charges off of that, I'm actually not going to try to block a lot to build the shock charges. I'm just going to straight up attack her and make sure that I don't trigger miss. Now, if I have enough shock charges, she won't be able to trigger her cloak. Now that we're at SP2 though, I'm gonna build to 20. I'm gonna drop the 20, and then I'm going to drop the SP2. And that'll do it for her. So here we are at 20. There's the parry, here's the SP2. Double that shock, and bye-bye goes Guillotine. So nice and satisfying. It's kind of like Mr. Negative in a way. Mr. Fantastic here on best defense and explosive personality. This was a good test. I have known or at least heard nodes that have increased ability accuracy, which this one has an increased evade ability accuracy, are basically, I wouldn't say immune to slow, but slow doesn't 100% shut it down. That's what I've been hearing. So Footloose, it's got force of will, but the opponent doesn't seem to evade when you have slow up, so that's good. And then you'll see through this fight, Mr. Fantastic does not evade once. So it was a good test. The important thing here is just to remember, don't place the Wushu through block because of explosive personality, unless you want to take a bunch of unnecessary damage or eventually die. All right, so the last fight is this Nimrod here. I'm going to take it with Nebula. Game plan is to build to 5 shock charges before attacking. And then once we've got it, we're going to avoid parry and block bait heavies. And we're going to combat or do combos until we get to SP2. Through the fight, we're going to build some more charges, hopefully get to 20 right as we're ready to drop SP2. If not, build the charges before dropping SP2. Parry, drop the 20 charges, and then double them with the SP2. And you see, good thing for self-repair there. But the idea here is that the 5 charges are going to shut down ability accuracy for Nimrod and the node, so our combat power rate's not going to be affected by the node, and we won't trigger buffet. And now that we're here at the 20 with the SP2, we finish off Nimrod with the shocks. So it was good practice for Nebula. I really wanted to try out some of her shining moments. Hope you guys enjoyed the war. Go ahead and hit subscribe, and I will catch you guys at the next one.